Welcome to Unity tutorial number 1 for homework number 1. I'm going to show you how to set up a world that behaves according to the laws of physics. So I've got an empty scene here. Let's start by adding a cube, which we will resize. Say 15.1 and 15. And now let's add another cube. And we're going to move it up. W key for move. Move it up like so. And let's go ahead and add a camera. We could use a standard camera, but not only is it standard, it's quite static. So let's instead add a first-person controller. I'm just going to drag and drop it into our hierarchy here. I don't even see where it added, so let's zoom out. There it is. Take a top view and let's move our first-person camera to the very edge of the world, like so. Zoom in, see where that ended up. Let's make sure that it's above the land. And I'm using this cube here as land. Let's go ahead and rename this to land. Very creative. Now, let's go ahead and let's see what we're working with here. Let's go ahead and hit play. And you can see we are standing on our land. We can use the mouse to look. There's our floating cube in the air. You can use W and S keys to move forward and back, A and D keys to move left and right, respectively. This is the functionality given to us by the non-standard camera, the first-person controller. In addition to all those, we can also press space to jump. And I bet you can hear those keys really loud when I press them. Sorry about that. I bet you can also hear the mouse clicks. So, microphone's in the keyboard. Anyway, so that's a pretty good start, but our world's not very dynamic. Nothing moves. The cube is floating in the middle of the air, and everything looks very drab. Let's go ahead and fix the drabness. It's not going to look great, but we can at least add some basics. We're going to go ahead and add a directional light to model the sun. You can see it's pointing straight as if it's just coming over the horizon. It's only going to light one side of our things. So let's take a top view and let's rotate this guy. E to rotate. Let's rotate it a little less than 45 degrees this way. Well, a little more than 45 degrees. And let's take a side view and rotate our sun down slightly, such that when we hit play, our world is lighted from somewhere up there. And we're good. Much better. So now that we can kind of see what's going on, let's go ahead and add a script to this cube to make it fall. We could spend time writing a script. However, Unity comes with some basic scripts, one of them being a rigid body. So we can just click rigid body with this cube selected, and it adds the rigid body script to the object. So you can see there's several settings here: mass, drag, angular drag, etc., etc. We're just going to keep these default settings. They're fine for now. So what we're going to do is, just to make it a little interesting, we're going to rotate our cube slightly, like so, so that when it falls, it bounces around kind of like a football. You know, if it just hit the ground, it wouldn't be that fun. So let's hit play and see what we've got. Awesome, our cube hits the ground and behaves according to the laws of physics. It's that simple. So let's go ahead and duplicate this cube. We can use Control D twice. Let's make 2 more. Let's rename these cube cube 2, and cube 3. And because that's going to annoy me, cube 1. So you notice that when we duplicate the cube, it duplicates with it all of its scripts. So rigid body script is associated with each of these cubes. No need to add them again. You can see in the scene view that it looks like there's still only one cube. If we hit F, we can frame our cube. Let's zoom out slightly here. And what we're going to do now is hit W to move it. And we're going to be moving cube 3. You can see cube 3 is selected over here. And we find out that it was there on top of our cube 1 all the time. And there's our other cube, cube 2. Now let's take a top view, see what we've got. That's pretty good. We want just a little bit of overlap, so let us rotate our cube slightly differently from the other ones. Let's do this one. This just makes it a little more interesting to watch when it bounces. And just take a side view, see where their heights are. It's pretty good. Let's just move one of them kind of directly above the others. Like so. Let's check our side view, make sure we've got no overlap. And that's pretty good. Alright, let's hit play and see what happens. That's pretty cool. Let's go over and take a look. You can see these cubes here are resting on each other, actually. It's pretty good, pretty good. Now, you'll notice that the land cube, we didn't add any scripts to that, and yet these, this land here behaves as if it were a rigid body, but it doesn't fall through space, but other objects can bounce off of it. So that's a nice default behavior. Let's try mixing it up a little, and we're going to change the material of this land. We're going to change it to make it more bouncy. So let's look at our standard assets, physics materials, and we find bouncy here. So let's add it to the land. We can either drag and drop it up here on land in the hierarchy, or we can just drop it right here in the scene view. Once we do and we select it, we can see that under Box Collider we have a material listed as bouncy. So it looks like that worked. Let's go ahead and check out the game and see what happens. These cubes should bounce around a lot more, and they do. Well, one's falling off, two's falling off, and the other one's come to rest. So there you have it. Here is a physical world. We have 3 boxes that bounce around according to physics. And also we have our handy dandy first person controller. It takes away a lot of scripting time. I hope you enjoyed it. There'll be more to come. Thanks.